Holy smokes. What is up, internet people? It's me, F, your friendly neighborhood disaster artist, back again in my humble abode of questionable life choices. So, I was just minding my own business, scrolling through the endless void that is the YouTube recommended page when it hit me. There is an entire universe of people out there who are at stuff, like impossibly good. They can bake a cake that looks like a literal galaxy. They can paint a tiny little sunset on their eyelid. They can build a functional birdhouse out of like 3 toothpicks and a piece of gum. And I love that for them, I really do. But what about the rest of us? What about the people whose attempts look less like a Pinterest board and more like a crime scene? Today, my friends, we are celebrating the unsung heroes of the internet, the tutorial fails. We're diving deep into the chaotic abyss of good intentions gone horribly, hilariously wrong. This is for everyone who has ever looked at a finished product in a video and then looked at their own sad, lumpy, slightly on fire version and just thought, well, I tried. We've all been there, right? You see this super slick 5-minute video where everything is perfect, the lighting is angelic, and not a single drop of paint is out of place, and you think, I can do that, it looks so easy. Spoiler alert, it is never, ever that easy. So grab your beverage of choice, get comfy, and prepare to feel so much better about your own life skills. We're going on a journey through some of the most epic, laugh-out-loud tutorial fails that the world has to offer. From kitchens that have seen better days to faces that look like they've been decorated by a toddler with a grudge, we're covering it all. This isn't about shaming anyone. It's about celebrating the glorious, messy, and utterly human process of trying something new and failing spectacularly. Let's get into it, you beautiful disasters.
Oh man, buckle up folks, because you're about to witness the most relatable train wrecks the internet has to offer. Let's get this disaster party started.
All right. First up on our tour of tragic attempts, we venture into the kitchen, the scene of so many crimes against food. I found this tutorial, okay? It was for magical rainbow swirl pancakes. The thumbnail was this majestic stack of fluffy, perfectly spiraled, vibrant pancakes. The person in the video made it look like child's play. Just separate your batter into 6 bowls, add food coloring, pour them into a squeeze bottle, and artfully create a rainbow spiral in the pan. Easy peasy, right? My kitchen, however, was about to become a modern art installation titled Despair in Technicolor. First of all, separating the batter. I don't know who has 6 identical pristine bowls just lying around, but it ain't me. I was using a random assortment of Tupperware, a coffee mug, and something that might have been a dog bowl at one point. Then came the food coloring. The video used these delicate little droppers. I had the squeeze bottles that you have to Hulk smash to get anything out of. And suddenly, my gentle sky blue was a deep, menacing navy, and my sunny yellow looked like mustard that had given up on life. It was already not looking promising, my dudes. Then came the squeeze bottles. I poured my sludge-colored batters into them, and of course I spilled. There was a Rorschach test of green and purple goo all over my counter. When I finally got to the pan, the artful spiral part of the instructions turned out to be a lie from the deepest pits of hell. Instead of a beautiful swirl, the colors immediately bled into each other, forming a singular, horrifying shade of brownish-gray purple. It looked less like a rainbow and more like a puddle you'd see in a gas station parking lot after a storm. It was a swamp monster pancake. I cooked it anyway out of sheer morbid curiosity. The smell was confusing. It didn't smell like a pancake. It smelled like hot food coloring and shattered dreams. When I tried to flip it, the whole thing disintegrated into a pile of sad, gray-brown mush in the pan. It looked like something my dog Kermit would throw up after eating crayons. I just stood there, spatula in hand, covered in streaks of food coloring, staring at this culinary war crime. The video promised magic, but all I got was a mess and a profound sense of personal failure. I ate cereal for breakfast.
Honestly, cereal is the real hero here. Sometimes you just have to know when to surrender to the breakfast gods.
Next, we move from the kitchen to the vanity, the realm of makeup tutorials, a place where hope goes to die a glittery death. I saw this video for a sultry, graphic liner smoky eye. The makeup artist in the video was a goddess. With a few flicks of her wrist, she had these sharp, clean lines, perfectly blended eyeshadow, and a look that screamed, I'm mysterious and I have my life together. I, on the other hand, was about to create a look that screamed, I got into a fight with a raccoon in a coal mine, and the raccoon won. The first step was to lay down a base of black eyeshadow. The tutorial lady used a fluffy brush and gently patted it on, building the color. I took my brush, dipped it in the black shadow, and immediately had fallout all over my cheek. It looked like I was growing a 5 o'clock shadow made of soot. I tried to wipe it away, which only smeared it, creating a lovely grey streak down to my chin. This was fine. Everything was fine. I looked like a sad Victorian chimney sweep. But we press on. The process is the journey or whatever. Then came the graphic liner. This was the main event. She drew this incredible sharp wing that extended into a crisp line in her crease. It was art. I held my liquid liner pen with the shaky hand of a surgeon who's had way too much coffee. I took a deep breath and went for it. The line started okay, but then my hand twitched. The wing, instead of being a sharp, elegant flick, turned into a thick, wobbly Nike swoosh that was aiming for my eyebrow. It was a catastrophe of epic proportions. It wasn't a wing, it was a broken bat wing. Trying to fix it was the real mistake. I'll just make the other side match, I thought, like a fool. The other eye ended up even worse, veering off towards my temple. I looked asymmetrical and deeply unwell. I kept adding more liner to try and even them out, but they just got thicker and blacker until my entire eyelid was just a massive black hole of despair. I had no choice but to commit. I blended it all out, hoping for smoky but achieving recently punched. I looked in the mirror and just saw two giant smudges.
Well, hey, at least you're ready for Halloween, 11 months early. Sometimes the only thing smoky about a smoky eye is the burning desire to wipe it all off and start over.
Okay, so after failing at food and my own face, I thought, let's try something wholesome, a nice DIY project. What could go wrong? Famous last words, my friends. I decided to make a macrame plant hanger. The tutorial was hosted by this incredibly calm woman with long flowing hair, surrounded by plants. She made it look so meditative. Just a few simple knots, she said. It'll be a beautiful bohemian addition to your home, she said. What she didn't say is that you need the dexterity of a spider and the patience of a saint, neither of which I possess. The project started with cutting about, I don't know, 1,000,000 feet of rope. My living room floor was immediately covered in what looked like a nest of albino snakes. I spent a solid 20 minutes just untangling myself from the rope before I even made a single knot. The tutorial lady had all her ropes neatly hung from a hook. I was just sitting on the floor, wrestling with a mountain of cord, already sweating. The cat, of course, thought this was the greatest game ever invented and immediately started attacking the ropes, adding a delightful layer of chaos to the proceedings. The first knot was called a square knot, looked simple enough, over, under, through. Except my ropes kept getting twisted. What was supposed to be a neat, flat knot looked like a tangled, lumpy mess. It looked like a pretzel that had a stroke. I undid it and retried it about 15 times. Each time it came out looking slightly more tragic than the last. My hands were starting to hurt and my patience was wearing thinner than a single ply of toilet paper. The calm, meditative woman on the screen was starting to feel like a personal enemy. The real disaster struck when I tried to join all the sections together at the bottom. The instructions involved gathering all 16,000 strands of rope and tying them into some kind of magical gathering knot. As I was trying to pull everything tight, I somehow managed to loop a section around my own leg, and in my attempt to untangle my leg, I got an arm stuck. I was, and I am not exaggerating, literally trapped inside my half-finished, lumpy, pathetic excuse for a plant hanger. I had to sit there, ensnared in my own craft project until I could slowly, painstakingly wiggle myself free. The plant hanger never got finished. The rope is still in a bag in my closet, mocking me.
For our final exhibit in the Museum of Failure, we enter the world of dance tutorials. There's a confidence that comes with watching a TikTok dance. You think, it's 15 seconds long? The moves look simple. I got this. So I decided to learn the savage dance. The dancers in the tutorials are so cool, so effortless. They hit every beat with this smooth, powerful energy. I, on the other hand, have the natural rhythm of a filing cabinet falling down a flight of stairs. But hope springs eternal, right? I put the tutorial on the TV, slowed it down to half speed, and stood in my living room, ready to become a dance legend. The first move is that little side-to-side hip thing. Easy enough. I did it. I looked in the reflection of the dark TV screen. I did not look cool or savage. I looked like I urgently needed to find a bathroom. My hips were moving with the grace of a rusty gate hinge. But okay, fine. Warm-up phase. We move on. It's the journey, not the destination. The next part involves the hands. There's a whole sequence of intricate hand movements, claps, and gestures that are supposed to look sharp and sync up with the lyrics. The tutorial dancer's hands flowed like water. My hands looked like I was trying to fight off a swarm of invisible bees. I kept smacking myself in the face. At one point, I tried to do the classy, bougie ratchet part and my fingers got tangled together. How do you tangle your own fingers? I don't know, but I'm a pioneer in the field of uncoordination. The breakdown came during the part where you have to drop down low and then do that little kicky walk thing. I dropped down with all the grace of a sack of potatoes, my knees cracking like fireworks. Then, trying to do the walk, I lost my balance completely. I flailed my arms wildly, like one of those inflatable tube men outside a car dealership, before tipping over and collapsing onto my rug in a heap of shame and defeat. The music was still playing, mocking my puddle of human form on the floor. I just lay there, wheezing, as the effortlessly cool dancer on the screen finished the routine for the 10th time. I was not savage. I was at best mildly feral.
So there you have it. A journey through the valley of the shadow of failure. We baked, we painted, we knotted, we flailed, and what did we learn? We learned that YouTube tutorials are a beautiful lie, wrapped in good lighting and jump cuts.
We learned that my kitchen is a fire hazard.
My face is not a canvas for greatness.
My living room is a death trap.
And my body is not meant to move in time with music.
It's been a real journey of self-discovery, a very, very humbling journey, but hey, at least we got some laughs out of it, right? Mostly at my expense, but I'm willing to be the jester for your entertainment. And honestly, that's the whole point. It's not about being perfect, it's about having the guts to try something that you know you're probably going to be terrible at. It's about being able to laugh at yourself when you end up with a grey pancake or a black eye or get hog-tied by your own craft project. Because if you can't laugh when you look like a complete and utter dork, then what's the point of even being alive? Life is too short to not try the weird rainbow pancake recipe. Just maybe have a fire extinguisher nearby and don't wear your favourite shirt. All right, you beautiful, magnificent disasters, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for coming along on this chaotic ride with me. Go forth and fail spectacularly at something new this week. And then come back and tell me all about it in the comments so I can feel better about myself. I'm going to go take a nap now because being this untalented is exhausting. I'll see you next time. DPs.